Hey guys, welcome back to Jason and Joni Builds. Today I've got my oldest daughter Presley out here in the shop with me. We're going to do a quick video tearing down our 9-inch rear end on the Bronco and talk a little bit about what we're going to get done this weekend. We got a lot of stuff going on, so you guys stay tuned. Alright guys, so here we are, a 9-inch differential. It's 411 gears, it's the original gears. So we're gonna rebuild the center section before we put the Bronco all back together. I've already got the rebuild kits here, and the Dana 30 is already tore down up front. I want to go ahead and get this one pulled apart and get it cleaned up, and so we can do the reassembly videos. But anyways, this is a good opportunity for Presley to learn a little bit about this stuff. Alright, so we'll get started. We'll tear it down. What do you think?
Okay. What does it do?
Well, this takes power from the engine, puts it to the back wheels, and makes the Bronco drive. So this is what connects your tires to the engine. So when this is turning, your engine's turning this is turning, which turns your gears, which turns your axle, which turns your tires. Long story short, you have to have this for the Bronco to move. Okay?
Okay.
So what we'll do is we're going to put new bearings in it and rebuild it so it'll be reliable, so when we get out there and go driving it, we won't have trouble. I really feel like the best way for Presley to learn this is to let her do it herself. I want her to ask me questions and where do we need to go and what needs to come off, and just kind of let her feel her way through it, because that's the only way that she'll remember it. If I tell her every step, it'll just become her reacting. I want her to think about her next step and what she's going to do. So let's tear this thing apart. What do you think?
Sounds dirty.
It's going to be dirty. We'll get you some gloves. We got some heavy gloves, so we'll glove up and get some tools out and let her have some fun here. How would you like to start?
Take off this thing.
These are your bearing caps. All right. Well, before we take off our bearing caps, you probably want to take off. These are your keepers. Actually, what this does, this locks the bearings in place once you set your backlash in your gear. We'll show you that later. So let's go ahead and take these off.
This is a lot heavier than I thought it was.
There you go. All right.
Oh, it's all caught up in there and died.
Yeah, that oil, rear end oil stinks really bad. That's why you wear gloves.
Maybe that's why it's called rear end oil. Oh, oops, I had
Only my daughter would come up with that. Oh, that's good. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we gotta do something real quick. Take the air off. We need to mark our caps. It's like you do a rod like we've done before, take a punch. What I'm doing, Presley, is I'm gonna mark this cap, and I'm gonna mark the case, and then we'll mark this one and mark the case with 1 dot here and 2 dots here, because we want these to stay in the same spot when they go back together. You don't want to switch them around because this thing was machined one way, okay? So that's why I'm stopping you. Okay? So she's going to take just a punch and put 1 dot on this side, make sure it's in the middle of that. see. No, let's go a little bit more so we can see it. There you go. Make sure it's back in there. Hold on. I don't want to have two marks. Right there. Alright, that'll work. I'll put one right here on the case.
Right there.
That'll be fine. That's good. Yep, now come over here and put 2 dots. Ooh.
Is that good?
No, you can't see them. Alright, don't hit me. Alright. Alright, let's do it again. Go. One more. Oh, please don't hit the gears. Right.
What would happen if I hit it?
I won't be happy.
Is that supposed to come out?
Yep, this is the cap that you're removing.
That one isn't coming out.
This is an adjuster here. I'll catch this for you because this is kind of heavy, okay? We're going to remove the yoke now. And I'll hold on to this, I'll let you remove it here. We'll get the yoke removed and then we'll pull the pinion bearing out.
Okay. Sorry I almost killed you.
Pull your yoke off now. See all this right here? How nasty all this is?
Nope.
This tells us that our yoke seal was leaking. So we will go ahead and put your socket on here. Let's go ahead and get this removed. This is what holds in our pinion. Get the hammer over there. Oh, it's under here. I'm sorry, sweetie. Okay, what we need to do, no, we don't want to hit it like that. No, you want to tap it. Not want to, I'll give a little screwdriver. And what we want to do is separate this gasket right here, okay?
Could go to my fingertips, can't scratch my head.
We want to separate this gasket right here, okay? Keep prying it around here a little bit now. Okay, easy now. I'll explain why.
That's a little heavy.
Turn it over. There's this shim right here. The shim is important because that helps when we go back together. We'll need it.
That's good.
Yeah, let's run that screwdriver in.
Oopsie.
All right, and here's your pinion. And what you're looking for to see if these gears are still good is to show you and the camera. You look down this, Presley, this leading edge right here. If you could tell that it tapered, like it got narrow in the middle and then got wide on the sides, you'd be able to tell that, you'd know that the gear is really wore out. Or if it feels really sharp. But you can look where this gear was running, and this gear was running right where it's supposed to, right in the middle. It looks really good. So we'll get these cleaned up in the vat and get these bearings pressed off. Let's call this a crush sleeve. You'll get a new one of these every time you rebuild it. But what that does is that keeps your preload set. While I got you here, why don't we go ahead and push the bearings off, and then we're done with that part. We'll push the bearings off here, and we'll push the bearings off here. All right. I'll show you how to use the press. So this is, we're going to use this as a bearing puller. All right. What you do is you take this here. That sort of goes in behind that bearing. This is half. You take this other half, put it there. Use these bolts to tie it all together. and then we'll go put it over in the press. What we'll do is you push down on the top. This holds that bearing. You push down here, and the bearing pushes up off the shaft.
Okay.
So we got the bolts in this, and we'll take it over there to the hydraulic jack, and this will hold that bearing, and then that jack will push with pressure. Will push this bearing off the shaft.
Okay. Is it the same kind of hydraulic pressure, like the pressure used to make animatronics move?
Yes, it's the same principle. Yes.
Because the pressure, like the animatronics, like makes them like.
You have.
Okay, just cut that out. That's stupid.
No.
No, cut it out.
No, it's hydraulics. You have hydraulic cylinders uses oil, or you can have pneumatics in a cylinder, which is air pushing a piston, but it's both the same thing. You have a compressor or a pump creating pressure inside of a cylinder, which is what we're doing, and that's the same thing animatronics do, is they use a lot of pneumatics, which is air instead of hydraulic oil, so you don't make a mess.
Well, I was asking because we were, like when we went to Disney, like we were on one of the rides, like I could hear the air coming out, and I'm like, oh, that's the hydraulic pressure loosening.
That's right, and what you're hearing is like the relief valve, like a psh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's air bleeding off. So that would be a pneumatic system instead of hydraulic, but they both operate in very similar fashion.
Okay.
All right, let's go here to the press. All right, so we've got this thing put in our press here. So what I did, Presley, is I put the nut on top of the shaft and the socket on it and screwed the nut down so I'm not pushing against my threads, because if you do, you ruin your threads, you ruin the pinion. And then I'm just using this socket as a spacer. So if you don't mind, go ahead and pump this thing. We'll just keep pumping it down. Alright, nice and easy. Alright, come on. There you go, you see it moving?
Mm-hmm.
That's what this does. Keep pumping. Alright, awesome. Alright, so we got to do this 2 more times with take the bearings off of our ring gear, okay?
Okay.
We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to get this set up. We're going to pull the ring gear off, and hopefully I can get this in my press, because right now the ring gear won't go down in between my 2 pieces of channel. So I'm going to let Presley remove the ring gear. Turn it all the way around.
I might let you do that because I don't want to break it.
You can't break it. I'm just working the gear off. Move the air wrench so this can fall straight down. Presley and I pulled the ring off, and it still won't fit between my press. So I'm just going to have to pull it off this other way, and I'm really going to do it. I really don't want her to be this close to these bearings as I'm putting all this pressure on them. So I'm going to use this puller and try to get them to pull up. So anyways, we'll get this one pulled off and just show you guys what we'll do and move on. See how that worked, Presley?
Mm-hmm.
And just pulls it right off. Let's get this other one off.
Was this made for bearings?
Yep. That's a bearing puller.
Okay.
I'll do the same thing we did before. Sorry about having to take over there for a minute from Presley, because that tool is not the best suited to pull those off, but it works, and we made it work. But anyways, we have it disassembled, and it'll be a little bit more interesting to her, I think, putting it back together. But sometimes demolition is fun. But you yawning is quite it tells me how much fun she had out here. It is night time. We just try to get a little something done this evening. Anyways, we reserved a air compressor for this weekend. We're going to do our sandblasting on our frame and on the the firewall and on the front inner fenders of the Bronco. So, and our front and rear end housing, we'll go ahead and get those sandblasted before I get them built. So that's why we're doing all that this weekend. So have a lot of cleaned up parts and go ahead and get some primer put on it. But we'll try to show you guys our journey through all that too. Maybe we can get Presley back out there and I can show her how to use the sandblaster. And I told her, I said, I would even let her prime the frame, which I think she would enjoy because she's very artistic, and let her use the paint gun. But she's not going to get to use the paint gun if she doesn't put in the work. Because the paint gun is the fun part. It's all the prep is what's tough. Maybe?
Maybe.
Anyways, I'm trying, guys.
Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Take care.